Your check engine light is on, you scan the car, and the code P0430 shows up. Before you replace parts or assume the catalytic converter has failed, stop and understand what this code really means. P0430 means the engine computer has detected that the catalytic converter efficiency on bank 2 is below the expected threshold. In simple terms, the computer believes the catalytic converter on one side of the engine is not cleaning exhaust gases as effectively as it should. However, this does not automatically mean the catalytic converter is bad. Bank 2 refers to the side of the engine that does not contain cylinder number 1. This code only applies to engines with 2 banks, such as V6, V8 and some flat engines. If your engine has only 1 bank, this code will not apply. To understand why P0430 appears, it is important to understand how the catalytic converter is monitored. The engine uses oxygen sensors to evaluate converter efficiency. On bank 2, there is an upstream oxygen sensor located before the catalytic converter, and a downstream oxygen sensor located after it. The upstream oxygen sensor monitors the raw exhaust gases coming directly from the engine. Its signal constantly switches between rich and lean as the engine runs. The downstream oxygen sensor monitors the exhaust after it passes through the catalytic converter. In a properly functioning system, the catalytic converter smooths out the exhaust gases. As a result, the downstream oxygen sensor signal should remain relatively stable compared to the upstream sensor. If the engine computer sees that both sensors are behaving too similarly, it assumes the catalytic converter is not doing its job and sets the P0430 code. One of the biggest mistakes people make is assuming that P0430 always means the catalytic converter needs to be replaced. In reality, the catalytic converter is often not the root cause of the problem. Many other issues can cause the sensor data to look incorrect. A very common cause of P0430 is a failing oxygen sensor, especially the downstream sensor on bank 2. Over time, oxygen sensors can become slow, contaminated, or biased. When this happens, the sensor may report incorrect data, making the converter appear inefficient even if it is still working. Exhaust leaks are another major cause of this code. Even a small exhaust leak before or near the catalytic converter can allow extra oxygen into the exhaust stream. This additional oxygen affects sensor readings and can easily trigger a P0430 code. Cracked exhaust manifolds, leaking gaskets, rusted pipes, or loose bolts should always be inspected. Engine performance problems can also lead to catalyst efficiency codes. Misfires, rich fuel mixtures, or lean fuel conditions can overload the catalytic converter. When unburned fuel or excessive oxygen enters the exhaust, the converter cannot function properly. Over time, this can trigger P0430, even if the converter itself is not damaged. Fuel trim data is extremely important when diagnosing this code. If bank 2 is running too rich or too lean, the catalytic converter may be blamed unfairly. Always check short-term and long-term fuel trims to make sure the engine is operating within normal limits. Oil or coolant contamination can also reduce catalytic converter efficiency. Burning oil from worn piston rings or valve seals can coat the converter and oxygen sensors. Coolant entering the combustion chamber due to a head gasket issue can do the same. In these cases, replacing the catalytic converter without fixing the underlying problem will result in the code returning. Software calibration should not be overlooked. Some vehicles have updated engine control software that changes how catalyst efficiency is monitored. Without the update, the system may be overly sensitive and set a P0430 code even when the vehicle is operating normally. Proper diagnosis should always start by checking for other stored trouble codes. If misfire codes, fuel trim codes, or oxygen sensor codes are present, those should be addressed first. P0430 is often a secondary code caused by another issue. Next, perform a visual inspection of the exhaust system on bank 2. Look for leaks, cracks, loose connections, or damaged components. Even minor exhaust leaks can significantly affect sensor readings. After that, use a scan tool to view live data. Compare the upstream and downstream oxygen sensor signals on bank 2. If the downstream sensor closely mirrors the upstream sensor, further testing is required before condemning the catalytic converter. Verify that the engine reaches proper operating temperature. A cold-running engine can affect fuel control and catalytic converter efficiency. Cooling system problems can indirectly contribute to this code. Only after exhaust integrity, sensor operation, fuel trims, and engine performance are verified should the catalytic converter be considered suspect. Replacing the converter without proper testing is one of the most expensive and common diagnostic mistakes. Driving with a P0430 code may not always cause noticeable symptoms, but it can lead to increased emissions, reduced fuel efficiency, and long-term exhaust system damage. Ignoring the code or guessing at repairs often results in wasted money. Understanding what P0430 actually means allows you to fix the problem correctly the first time. The goal is not to replace parts blindly, but to identify why the data looks incorrect and correct the root cause. Always diagnose first, understand the system, and fix the root cause. Taking the time to test properly saves money and prevents unnecessary repairs. Before replacing parts, check our channel for more diagnostic tips and real-world fixes. Fix car codes helps you understand the problem before you spend your money.